Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. Let's check out the films that came out on Friday and see which ones popped and which ones flopped. Here are the final results from Friday. Very interesting. GOAT is still in first place, or actually is now in first place, with Wuthering Heights seemingly dropping down one. I Can Only Imagine 2 actually got into third place. I couldn't have imagined that. And then Crime 101, fourth place, not doing well. Send Help did okay. How to Make a Killing actually came in sixth place with 3 million. Wow. We're gonna have to check the Rotten Tomatoes scores in a second. There should have been more, I think. It's not in that many theaters. That's half. That's half. Wow. Well, I wonder why. Again, that must be that the theaters are saying, hey, there's not many people coming to this show, so let's get them out, and then we're going to put Crime 101 or GOAT. They probably said, hey, this How to Make a Killing there's not many people going to be in these theaters. They're not full. Let's take out the sixth theater, the fifth one, and replace it with GOAT and see if we can get more people in, because they're trying to make their own money. How to Make a Killing might be good. It just didn't draw that many people to the theater. And then this epic Elvis one, whatever that is, didn't do well. Solo Mio, all the way in eighth now. Zootopia 2, still going, but dropped down. Avatar still going. Psycho Killer only made $1 million. I said on Friday that one looked promising, as well as How to Make a Killing. So I was wrong on Psycho Killer. The trailer looked cool. It feels messy. I feel like the reviews are going to be like it doesn't know what it is, or it's a lot of stuff going on that ultimately goes nowhere. And then Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die didn't do it. Dracula, Iron Lung, Blades of the Guardians, and then the other A24 film, Pillion, $1 million. Yeah, Pillion made $1 million. That's funny. And so 89 theaters. Oh, yeah, that's why. Yeah, nobody wanted to see that. Okay. Well, Midwinter Break didn't do well. So basically, this is not a test. The Moment, the other A24 film. And was that it? I think that was Hamden. I'm surprised Hamden's still on here. Marty Supreme, other A24 film, did good. So this is kind of, wow, very surprising. Yeah, well, so they all pretty much flopped. I mean, I don't know the budgets on any of them. We can check the Rotten Tomatoes now and see how they turned out over here, because, I mean, that is so wild. Let's see. Yeah, here's the, I guess, finals for these. Wow, Psycho Killer is really that bad? That's crazy. How to Make a Killing is half and half. The critics didn't like it, but the audience likes it. And then there's the Elvis film, Wuthering Heights, half again. That's like almost the same as How to Make a Killing. I Can Only Imagine 2, it's actually kind of okay. And then, wow, Cold Storage, I guess it wasn't bad. I don't know. I guess it flopped technically. This doesn't make any sense. People like it, but it didn't make money. I don't get that. This is not a test. I did not cover this one on Friday. It might have been limited or something. Oh, for the critics maybe. And it'll probably come out this week on Thursday, most likely. GOAT, still, I mean, I guess I'm very surprised. I thought people would not like it. It looks like Zootopia. It looks like Spider-Man, the new ones. And I guess the story or whatever helped, and I guess it turned out good, I guess. Crime 101, I guess it's good, but I guess it's a flop because of the $90 million budget. And then Midwinter Break, wow, yeah, that's not that many, not enough people saw it to give it a rating. They must have taken out of the theaters for sure. What else? The Strangers, Melania, Pillion. And it's actually, yeah, that's what surprised me on Friday. It's actually liked. People, well, no, I don't get that. It's liked, but the reviews are confusing because it's like, it's not a love story, which I'm confused about because it's like, it says it's a dark comedy. Is it like it's making fun of gay stuff? Or it's more of a humorous way, you know? Or is it whatever? It says it's not entirely like what you think. It says it's not entirely a love story or like a romance and like what you expect for this movie to be. So that might have affected it. And it's very weird. But again, A24 is able to do that because they keep their budgets very low. So even if they don't do well, at least technically it's, you know, they didn't lose money. Nirvana, the band that showed the movie, I guess it got liked. People like that one. Solo Mio, even though it's low on the box office, it's, I guess, liked by everyone. And then Shelter is over there. We can check out some of the reviews now for these films. So the first one will be I Can Only Imagine 2, which I guess performed the best out of all of them. Let's check the budget first, if there is one here. 8 million. That's not amazing. There's no way this movie could be under 20. It must have flopped. There's 7 reviews. I don't understand how that works. I probably read these already. 9 out of 10 loved it. Good, heartfelt movie. We need more movies like these. True stories are the best, and we can all relate to life struggles, joy, pain, and depression. I'm definitely seeing this movie again. Can't wait for the digital release. I'll definitely buy it since it will be a must for my collection. Good job on a good movie for 2026. Okay, 10 out of 10 outstanding. 9 out of 10 love the heart and soul. 10 out of 10 absolutely beautiful movie. It will overwhelm you with emotions. Well, 8 out of 10. Well, I mean, it looks, they're all good reviews. We can check out the Rotten Tomatoes for it and see, because that's so weird though. Like, it technically did okay, but how many people saw it, you know? It's so weird. Here's the Rotten Tomatoes for it. Let's see. I'm not the target audience for this, but I think this does what it needs to do for the audience it's serving. This guy gave it a splat, I guess. Even if you go into I Can Imagine 2 feeling immersed in the Bart Millard saga, the new movie is a bit of an odd duck, like a faith-based drama on tranquilizers, because he keeps tossing out conflicts and whatever. I'm not sure how to read these. We had very high expectations after seeing the first movie, and this did not disappoint. Best movie I could ever cry my soul out to. Is that it? Oh, view more. Critics reviews, audience reviews. Well, I don't know what to believe. I don't know how this works. I feel like I trust the audience reviews more than the critics. We had very high expectations. 5 stars, I guess, whatever. Very inspiring movie. I'm sure some of the facts were changed to make the movie more interesting. Okay. Best movie ever. Jesus. 1, 2, 3.5. 3.5. Let me first say I'm a huge fan of Mercy Me. I remember that. I know I watched it. I really enjoyed the first I Can Only Imagine movie. This second installment was enjoyable, though at times the movie felt a little rushed and predictable. If you're a fan of Mercy Me, it's worth the watch. A heartfelt movie that touches you and could relate. Excellent movie. The story, whatever, wasn't as good as the first movie, but it's still amazing, worth seeing. Okay. Well, then, I mean, yeah, I would trust the audience ones more than the critics, I guess. Next is How to Make a Killing. 6.8 stars. Surprised. Let's see if there's a budget yet. I say 30 million if they post it. No, 3 million though. Worldwide, that's a flop. Dude, there's no way. That is really crazy how that happens. I don't know. Well, I feel like if A24 gets too many flops, don't you think they're going to have a meeting? The investors are going to be like, hey, you've had too many flops this year. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10, what is his feeling? Am I truly watching credits roll on a Glenn Powell film and realizing it was very good? This isn't supposed to happen. And yet it has. The film has all its details in place. Its plot, while not original, is executed with a creativity which makes it feel original. Its pacing is brisk overall, but at every right time, slows to examine and explore key moments. A delightful surprise. How to Make a Killing is a sort of carefully crafted artwork, which is, in my preference, to die for. Okay, it's kind of a weird review. 10 out of 10. A slow burn that nearly ignites. How to Make a Killing delivers a gripping premise with enough tension and style to keep you invested, but it stops just short of being truly unforgettable. Okay. The film builds its atmosphere well. From the opening scenes, there's a steady sense of unease that slowly escalates. The pacing is deliberate, sometimes a little too deliberate, but it mostly works in the movie's favor. The cinematography stands out, especially in the darker sequences where shadows and silence do much of the storytelling. Cool. Overall, How to Make a Killing is stylish, tense, and intelligently made. It's a film that almost fully satisfies, close enough to recommend, but just shy of greatness. But you gave it a 10 out of 10. That should be like an 8 out of 10 with that part right there. If you enjoy psychological crime dramas with slow burn tension, this one is worth your time. Just don't expect it to completely blow your mind. Then why did you give it a 10 out of 10? You can be honest. The next one is 8 out of 10. Glenn Powell does it again. How to Make a Killing is a black comedy thriller movie written and directed by John Patton Ford, and it follows Beckett Redfellow as he looks to reclaim his inheritance from his wealthy family after they have disowned him since birth. This is a movie that I was looking forward to as I was a fan of Ford's previous movie, Emily the Criminal, and I like the cast of actors while I just got done watching the movie, and it was great. The positives for this film: this movie feels like a classic revenge story where you have a main character wanting to get back at the people who wronged him with a black comedy twist to it. These are my types of movies, as it is always fun to watch the main character beat the villains, but for what they did to him. Glenn Powell is great as Beckett Redfellow, and he has the natural charm to get people to root for his characters in every movie he's been in since his breakout role in Top Gun Maverick. You also have Margaret Qualley as Julia Steinway and Jessica Henwick as Ruth, and their different dynamics with Powell are fun to watch. The rest of the supporting cast is awesome, as the rest of the Redfellow family, who are excellent at getting you to hate their guts. The movie does a great job at building up tension as we get to see Powell take out his family one by one. This might be more spoiler. Well, we kind of are assuming that. There is some action that was fun and filled with tension, and finally the movie has a good pace that moves the story smoothly. Negatives are, my one issue is that I never bought into Margaret Qualley's character to be a good childhood friend to Glenn Powell, as she has this stuck up attitude about her, which was clearly intentional on the part of John Patton Ford, except I didn't like her. I was also let down by the ending, as it wasn't satisfying for me. Overall, this film is a damn good black comedy thriller movie with a fun cast and premise I can get behind on, even if it fumbles the ending for me personally. Interesting. A 1 out of 10. Don't waste your money. Wow. 6 out of 10. Perfect weekend film. 6.3 out of 10. Slightly recommend. Yeah, I mean, it's probably entertaining. I had originally planned to see this movie on a Thursday, but canceled 2 days in a row because I was tired. Honestly, kind of happy I did, because this movie isn't as funny or action-packed as I sort of assumed it would be. Despite this, How to Make a Killing is pretty much a perfect Saturday or Sunday afternoon movie. It is entertaining despite how predictable it is. The acting is mediocre at best. I enjoy Glenn Powell in most of the films I've seen him in, but here it just felt like he showed up to do a meager role. I still enjoy him, but it's not all that in this one. Margaret Qualley started off enjoyable, but both her character and her acting just slowly faded away. I will say I enjoyed the story, despite it being predictable and very much the cliches for this type of movie. It was still entertaining. Turn off the world, turn off the mind, and just enjoy a theoretical killing spree that's done so nonchalantly. I feel there was a lot told in 105 minutes because I thought the runtime was closer to 2 hours or more. Overall, it's a predictable movie with mediocre acting. It has a decent story that is still entertaining. I don't hate that I saw it in the theater and I would potentially see it again, but it's definitely a movie to watch on the weekends with snacks at hand. It won't win any awards, but it might win some smiles. This one is 6 out of 10, chuckles, not laughs. It's a black comedy set in modern times in New York City and New Jersey. There is an extended Redfellow family of billionaires. However, Beckett Redfellow's mother is disowned and ignored by the family's current patriarch, Whitelaw Redfellow, when she became pregnant with Beckett. He is raised in poverty when his parents both died young. However, the grandfather's will established a trust that said the money goes to the oldest surviving descendant. There are 7 Redfellows ahead of Beckett. Beckett's childhood sweetheart, Julia, and the girlfriend of one of the Redfellow cousins, Ruth, also play significant roles as Beckett decides to lengthen his odds of getting the family's money. The film opens with Beckett within 24 hours of being executed for murder. Beckett then recounts the demise of the various Redfellows to Father Morris. The most interesting of the Redfellow cousins, uncles, aunts is Pastor Stephen Redfellow. Ed Harris also does fine work. Glenn Powell and Jessica Henwick are one-dimensional and become less interesting as the story unfolds. Margaret Qualley is over the top, but interesting. The twist at the end didn't really work for me. It's chuckles, not laughs. Okay, these are kind of interesting reviews. And then this one is the last one I'll read, I think. 6 out of 10. Just watch the original. I knew the premise when I sat down yesterday to watch this, but what I didn't know was just how much it was inspired by the 1949 film. Times change, but this update of kind hearts and coronets just didn't have any of the intrigue or playfulness that drew me in on the original. Maybe the billionaire class is just a bit less interesting as people, but I don't think that really explains it. So this is a remake. I wonder if anybody watched it before. Well, this guy did, but how many? Maybe that... Well, now I'm going to find the original. What's the original one? 1949. So this is an old film then. Well, that's all I'm going to read. That's interesting. Yeah, kind of a mix, but I mean, I guess it flopped in the end, which is pretty surprising. I mean, I really did think it had at least a chance. I didn't think that was going to happen. Next, we can check out Psycho Killer, because I thought this one was going to do okay. 5. No, I got The Stranger Chapter 2. Or I got The Stranger's treatment. 5 stars. Oh, man. Wow. Disappointing. Okay, let's see if there's any budget stuff. Nope. $1 million. Jeez. It has to be 20 million or 30. I hope it's not 50 million or 80. That'd be unfortunate. Oh my God. 31 reviews, 1 out of 10 laughable. I don't review movies often, but I felt this one was deserving. This felt like a high school media project where they barely got a passing grade. The script was comical, acting was terrible. The plot introduced a bunch of irrelevant tropes and meaningless events. I actually laughed out loud at the acting and script at times. The villain's voice was 5 octaves lower than any natural voice. I'm blown away that anyone is rating this positively. They must be bots. Don't waste your time and money. There are much better alternatives. Holy crap. 7 out of 10. Good movie. What? You're right. Wow, the movie really was good. Can't wait for the next one. The climax could have been better. The character placed by Reeves was really great. What? Place? What? The character placed by Reeves was really great. That's got to be AI. The acting done by him and his physique was perfect for this kind of role. The story was also good. Thoroughly a movie you would enjoy. Both the main characters did splendid job. That's fake. 7 out of 10. Make your own opinion by yourself. Yes, that's how it works. Bought my ticket for this a Wednesday. Review bombing started Thursday, so I was a little apprehensive considering the consensus for earlier reviews seemed to be 0%. It's awful, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's probably true. This isn't at all. I mean, yes, there's the usual slasher tropes, cliches, story points, and you will feel some familiarity, but some scenes that happen, but at least for me, this wasn't insulting like some other modern movies, horror or not. Georgina Campbell is very good for the material she's given. I actually thought the slasher character was pretty well designed and acted, and despite a too quick appearance, Malcolm McDowell is fun to watch. Maybe this is real. I don't know what to believe. overall, this is a competent, if not a bit too familiar, slasher movie. This could have been more. The writing could have been a bit more depthful, and the kills maybe showcased a bit more. But this isn't a 0% movie. For my money, it's worth watching, and maybe it won't stay with you as long as it maybe hoped to. Okay, and 3 out of 10, not the worst movie, but definitely missing something. The review bombs are ridiculous. Obviously, this isn't a movie of the year, but it wasn't 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Bad. It is, though. What? I thought the satanic slasher was generally creepy, but the story just didn't have enough to thrill me. It was a cool concept, but it's missing something. It's worth at least checking out. We can check the Rotten Tomatoes for it. 10%. The climax proves thoroughly ridiculous by that point, but by that point, you've given up on the film anyway. And these are the critics. One could be forgiving for thinking that Pallone and the screenwriter Andrew Kevin Walker wanted to prank audiences, not actually terrify them. It didn't work. Okay, and then 3 stars. Adequate genre movie that has some interesting things that keep you engaged, but also clearly had some editing issues. And then half a star. But it was like a Tubi movie shown on a big screen. Well, there you go, I guess. I don't know. That's so weird. I guess it bombed. I feel bad because, like, the trailer looked cool. And it was a good trailer, like, to where it doesn't show anything. Like, it looked, yeah. You know, it didn't really give away the twist or anything. You could probably guess it. But yeah, it flopped in the end. The next thing we can check is Pillion, I guess. I think they took it out of the theater. 6.8 stars. Let's see. 96 reviews. Wow, 8 high ratings. Very surprising. 3 million. Maybe it was $1 million movie. I don't know. That's really funny. $1 million. They have 4 or 5 movies right now at the theaters. Unbelievable. Marty Supreme's success probably, makes up for the loss. I mean, they're already not losses, so they're doing well. 9 out of 10, compelling and heartbreaking. This movie completely moved me and destroyed me in the best way possible, even though it touches themes such as submissive sex and kinks. It really goes deeper than that. It shows you what ultimately everyone wants and needs. No matter the walls that you put up, you want to feel loved, and it's incredibly painful and heartbreaking. The pacing and timing hits just at the right time. The cinematography is super intentional, and the use of close-ups really brings you inside the feeling. And this could have easily had a complicated storytelling and be super experimental, but it didn't. It tells you a linear story that we've all felt in some form. It was perfect. Wow. And this guy didn't give it a 10 out of 10. He gave it a 9 out of 10. The other guy said it was perfect, give it a 10 out of 10. Oh, the other guy gave it a 10 out of 10 and said it had some issues. This guy said it was really good and gave it a 9 out of 10. Very funny. 7 out of 10, casting a major contributor to success. First, let me say this movie did not violate any acceptable threshold for me. I think this is because as a heterosexual old lady, I did not feel the relationship between our 2 leads was sexy. What? It's a story where the first ML keeps the second ML at arm's lengths for reasons you will know by the end of the movie. ML? Male lead. Okay. Alexander Skarsgård is a stunning hunk in this role, and Harry Melling is sweet and warmly appealing with soulful eyes. However, I began to think towards the end, would this story even work if the first male lead was not insanely handsome, but instead was ordinary? Well, that's the thing of the acting and actors, whatever, I guess. No, not that ending. Oh, someone's gonna die. 10 out of 10, stunning film, but not for those who don't understand the BDSM community and or the Dom sub lifestyle. See, yeah, I guess people with an open mind can watch it, and then people who do this can watch it. And basically, yeah, that's it, really, I guess. Or like filmmaking type of people. Because, I mean, this is a weird movie. I mean, you can tell it has that friendship like edge to it where it's like, yeah, you know, if you saw Friendship, it's like dark comedy like this, where it's just like serious, but whatever. But yeah, I guess it flopped. I bet you it'd say 24. It technically didn't. It probably didn't lose any money. So yeah, but Pillion flopped. And the next is, we could check out Midwinter Break, which I guess, yeah, flopped as well. 6 stars though. I mean, terrible. Let's see if there's a budget for it. And it's based off a book, so wow, 530. That's not amazing, but it's based off a book. 5 ratings so far. Let's see. 10 out of 10. Beautiful photography, music, a stellar cast. Ending was too easy. See, I'm just gonna read. Well, this guy gives it a 10 out of 10. Well, maybe it's like, you know, a mature adult, not a, you know what I mean? Can give more of a, like, a better review, you know, whatever. More thorough description, I guess. Beautiful photography, music, cast. Watching this film took me back to time in Europe. The streets, the buildings, the weather. If you enjoyed Before Sunrise and that series, Before Sunrise, show, I guess, or movie, this film should be up your alley. I'm sad to see some other reviews here complain the film is slow in pacing. If you're accustomed to only watching American tentpole films full of action and violence, thankfully European-styled films are more realistic and slice of life. The point of this film is that tension builds over time and reaches an unsustainable fever pitch. These tensions don't always arise abruptly. I haven't read the book this is based on, but the title also perfectly encapsulates the plot. I see so many hit their 40s to 60s as life shifts gear and struggle with finding their new purpose when work or family, or both, such as this case, are no longer forefront. You may or may not relate to the lead's internal struggle. I didn't directly, but I can appreciate that chapter and season changes reveal fractures that were long information. I'm sure, look, like, even if you look at this and you can't relate to it, everyone has an issue or problem, right? Every couple could have a problem, whatever, even if it's like maybe tiny, you know, everyone has an issue in some form. Yeah, so it may not be this exactly, but it's something. So this continues saying the cast and direction were spot on, and it's a powerful reminder that being steeped in trauma decades ago may not fully yield its fruit for 30 years or more. And everyone processes at lightning speed. Freedom comes in many forms and choices are never made in a vacuum. Thank you to Focus Features for hosting the LA Insider screening. This work was well worth venturing out on a Saturday night. Cool. So it's more like a trauma. It looked like she's going to reveal, I guess, a trauma. It looked like she's like an alcoholic. There's violence in the movie, bloody images, which I'm like, what? It's, I don't know. Someone gets attacked, maybe. Anyway, 7 out of 10. Small drama, especially made for married couples. No rating. 7 out of 10. Contemplative and insightful. 5 out of 10. A unique character study that struggles with pacing and narrative substance. And that is it. Well, I mean, technically, this one flopped. And yeah, I mean, I wonder if it really changed an hour and a half. That's such a good runtime. You know, like, even if it's too slow, at least it's an hour and a half. I just watched Mercy, and that movie sped through. It felt, which was cool, because it was like, do we need 2 or 3 hours of this? You know? So, I mean, somebody said it's slow pacing, but it's an hour and a half. So it comes, like, I'm sure it's going to feel different. It's like, it feels long, but short, but fast, but long, you know, whatever. Very weird. So, I don't know. I feel like movies miss sequences. Like break the movie into the plot points, but then add in funny sequences or something, you know, like to break up the moments and the pacing or whatever, I guess. Okay, and just a quick rebuttal of the results from Friday. I can only imagine 2, surprisingly, was the high, like 8 million. 3rd place, unbelievable. How to Make a Killing, surprisingly, came in 6th place. 3 million. Crazy. And then Psycho Killer, I can't believe it. It bombed. Actually flopped. 1 million. Crazy. Pillion flopped. Midwinter Break, half half of all of those other ones. That is crazy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. How bizarre. Yeah, very surprising. I didn't expect those to be the results, but yeah. And then we can take a look at the upcoming show on Thursday. These are going to be the movies that are coming out. There's going to be these limited releases up until then, which will be just, I guess, 2 films for once, which is kind of funny. I haven't had 2 films in a while. Thursday will be either a quick show or kind of a medium show. I'll have a lot of time to look at these. Scream 7. I honestly am not into Scream. I'd have 6 movies to watch. But I watched all the Final Destinations and John Wick films before the last ones. So I'll probably, maybe I can do that. So Scream 7 by Paramount Pictures. That'll be cool. Matthew Lillard is promoting it. It looks like this one's a big movie. I hope that does well, right? Scream is a big series or whatever. So if it bombs, oh my God, I'm going to be so mad at them, right? The fans are going to hate Paramount Pictures. It's probably going to do well, right? You think a $100 million opening day for Scream 7? And why can't that be in Halloween? I don't understand that. And then Epic Elvis President. Oh, that's why. Okay, Epic Elvis whatever is coming out. I was like, I didn't see that last Friday. So that one's going to come out from Neon. And then Bring the Law Limited, Level 33, Crazy Old Lady Shutter Limited, Dreams, Green Witch Limited, and then Ghost Elephants, a documentary movie Limited. And then wow, well, I'm not going to read all those. Yeah, a lot of them. K-Pops, Matter of Time. Any big ones? No. Next week, yeah, The Bride. I kind of saw that. What? Another freaking Frankenstein movie or whatever, right? God. They just did that. Okay, so yeah, well, that would be Thursday's show. 2 films. And yeah, so that wraps up this episode. Comment down below about what you thought. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you on Thursday. Peace.